granniopteryx, granniopteryx. She knows the truth, she's linking every link.
Hello, well, I just saw this bit of news here, which was drawn to my attention by a subscriber. Queen Elizabeth II's statue will be standing and not on horseback. And I think that's an extremely sad decision. I don't know whether it's because the artist felt he couldn't do a horse properly. There aren't many who can, I suppose, now. They're not that often depicted. But it's still very sad. The National Monument to the late Queen Elizabeth II will feature a statue of her standing rather than on horseback, as previously illustrated, the Memorial Committee has announced. It's difficult to know what formed that decision. As I said, it may be the artist said, look, I just don't do horses, or it could be that they thought it might look too elitist or something, which is completely wrong. Now, I just, before I carry on, I was baking bread this morning. I've got flour still on my hands. Difficult to get rid of that stuff. Okay, so I think it's wrong not to remind people that the Queen was a woman who had a passion for horses. That was her private life. You see, she was the Queen. Everybody had to defer to her. Now, she may have got some pushback from Prince Philip, who was famously unimpressed by pomp and ceremony, but there were very few people she could rely on to actually tell her the truth or act naturally with her. But horses, well, there's a saying in the horse world: a horse will throw a king as well as his stable boy. That means, if you're not a good rider, the horse doesn't care what your station in life is. So that must have been a reality check for the Queen that she needed. And I think it's a reality check that a lot of people need, actually. And I think we have lost something in our lives by not experiencing the sort of reality check that horses can give people. That's her public persona, but this is her private persona. And it was a private persona that went through her entire life here. Being the Queen, she could do this stuff. She got a gallop round Ascot, the racecourse, before the races started, on a horse called Surprise, which is rather a good name for that, because a lot of the people seeing this woman careering around the racetrack before the races started would have had a surprise when they noticed that it was Her Royal Highness. And she was riding right up to the end of her life. She was 96 when she died, and apparently she was 96 when she last rode a horse. There was an article here about her riding. Well, it's a fell pony now. And yes, she was always accompanied by an assistant, and I'm quite sure that they exercised the horse very well before she got aboard to make sure that it wasn't too sparky for her. But she did keep on riding. And I know why she did it, because something like that has happened to me recently. The past few weeks I haven't been riding. First of all, we went to London and we were staying with my son. I could take the dog, but I couldn't take the horses. So I wasn't riding in the 3 weeks we were staying in London. And then when we got back, well, we not only had a lot of loose ends to pick up when we got back, but also we were both suffering from the effects of the flu or cold or whatever it was that we got when we were in London. Yeah, the worst thing about moving from the country into the big smoke is that there's lots of people about and lots of germs as well that you probably don't come across in smaller communities. All right, so although I'd been involved with the stables, I wasn't actually riding until 3 days ago. And the minute I got up on my horse, I realised how much I'd missed riding. And it's not like in the previous month I'd been sitting around longing to be on the horse. There was too much going on. There were art galleries to go to, and there were friends to visit, and there were celebrations and all the rest of it. And I know I didn't sit around thinking, oh gosh, I miss riding. But when I got back on the horse, I realised how much I really had missed it. And as the horse was clip-clopping along, I thought, I really have missed this, and I didn't know it. And I'm starting to wonder whether that's what's wrong with society in general. I apologise if you think I'm going from the personal to the social in a huge leap. But it seems to me that we, as a species, have forgotten that we like to ride horses, have forgotten how much we miss our contact with horses. I'm not just talking about the riding out for fun, which is what I do, but the fact that we don't use horses for the workings of our daily lives anymore, that we don't see them regularly being used by, I don't know what, rag and bone men or milkmen. They used to have horses pulling carts even quite late, even until the 60s, I think. We're losing that contact. And I suppose that's why people are spending so much effort on dogs and on household pets, dogs and cats, and why there's so much in the on the internet, short videos about saving animals and looking after strays and all the rest of it. People are trying to recapture that connection that we have with the animal world. The only trouble is it's not the same as actually doing it. Looking at videos of puppies is all very cute, but it's not the same as contact with puppies, which a lot of people don't have. And horses are, I think, a more important part of human history and human contact with animals. When you look at the oldest cave paintings you can find, well, what are they all about? They're about contact with animals. It may have been that they pictures of hunting animals, but that's still contact. We're losing that. And the fact that the Queen, who was somehow our connection with the horse world, she's now gone, and they are deleting that from her memory as well. I think that's a bad sign. I can't actually think in what way it's a bad sign, but I do have an idea that it's a bad sign. Perhaps some of you can post theories in the comments underneath this video. All right, well, yeah, that's it. Till next time. You can help my channel by subscribing and clicking the notification bell. That's quite important. And by sharing if you're so inclined. Links to my other channels and to donation methods are in the description. But the best way you can help is simply by clicking like and notify. Thank you.